Good little talk though, right?
Yeah, it was good. So who are you and what do you do?
I'm Paul Pope, and I make comics and graphic novels. And we're here at ALA. I'm promoting my next book, Battling Boy, for First Second, which is out October 8th, 2013.
Can you tell me about Battling Boy?
Yeah, it's kind of my take on sort of a classic coming-of-age story of the young superhero. It's set in sort of a mythological science fiction world, so it's influenced by Joseph Campbell and lots of mythology. Classic comics like Jack Kirby's Fourth World, a lot of manga, lots of monsters, and so he's a boy god who doesn't really know what his power is, and his father is a war god, and he realizes that kids needs to have his first big task, so he sends him to this planet that's infested with monsters. He's kidnapping children and stuff, and he has to manifest his power through the challenge of figuring out what's the monster problem and how do we solve it. So it's fun.
How was your experience at the conference?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, with the conference itself is great because I do a lot of the comic book festivals and conventions and stuff. This is of course it's like a pro trade show, right? So it's mostly librarians and educators. But I have to say, the level of conversation's been really great. It's not a lot of frantic energy like at Comic-Con, where there's tons of horny teenagers and stormtroopers and, blow-up dolls and stuff like that. So this is nice.
Do you remember your first experience with the library?
Well, yeah, sure. When I was a kid, I had a little friend, and we went to the library all the time. We had a good public library in Upper Arlington, Ohio, which is near Columbus. And that was like bliss, being 8 years old, with your buddy. It's over the summer on a bike. Go to the drugstore, get a bag of candy, soda, go to the library, get the books, and then, just read everything. I was a voracious reader. And back then they also had listening booths with the LPs, so you could listen to music. So we just kind of hung out at the library. They had comics and spinner racks too back then, which was at the time exciting because comics were so hard to find back before the comic book shop era, Now with the internet, of course, Amazon.
Yeah. What's your favorite library service?
Probably reference. Like in college, I went to Ohio State, we had 26 reference libraries. Back then we were using Dewey Decimal. Hard to believe. I like doing research a lot. As a student, I would do a lot because you had to, but then now it's really, research is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the job. Like for Battling Boy, looking at, there's a house, one of the superheroes has a house you see inside of it. I did a lot of research on, because this character's interested in the occult. I looked at a lot of like Mesoamerican sculpture, Pacific Northwest, like totem poles and tribal symbols. And then for the house itself, Frank Lloyd Wright, a lot of his different designs. And so that's the kind of thing that I would use the library for. Pull out the reference books, like Frank Lloyd Wright's major works, etc. So I think I tried to get a job as a shelver when I was in high school, but I had a mohawk, so they wouldn't hire me.
What's a comic you think should be in every library?
I think Bone. I think the classic Marvel comics, like the origin stories of Fantastic Four, like all that great Silver Age stuff. I think obviously Tintin, early Carl Barks comics, origins of Batman, Wonder Woman, those kinds of things. And then also maybe for older readers, obviously Watchmen. I love Love and Rockets. I'm sure those are getting shelved. Hopefully Battling Boy.
Cool.